didn't go live last night. I was tempted to. But definitely in this penultimate episode of HBO's Mayor of Easttown, episode 6. Certainly not the conclusion that we saw in episode 5, which was pretty stunning and, on par with maybe first season of True Detective. It was great. I was moved. I was moved. But here with Sore Must Be the Storm. Equally impactful in a way. Great setup. I got a little ticked at the end because I had the feeling, it started becoming pretty obvious how they were going to leave things off to set us up that next week is must see. Like, we have to see how this concludes. I won't hold you up. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel and hit that like button if you dig the way any of the information, sports or entertainment is being broken down. All comments appreciated. Definitely going into a finale week. I'd be interested on anybody's theories on who killed Aaron. I'm gonna let it go early. I don't think Billy. Is that his name? That doesn't sound right. Yeah, Billy. I don't think Billy did it. I know right now all fingers point to him. He gave some confession, admission to his brother, but they worded it all kind of funny. Unless I need to watch it again. I only watched this episode once at this point in time, so I will watch it again. But he went about the way he said it. Either I killed her or I did it, but it wasn't connected to Aaron's name per se. So I'm a little confused on that. The other thing is the gun that he had in his tackle box is not the same weapon that they said from the ballistics report with the Tony guy from The Wire that popped up. I thought it was dope to see him. I haven't seen him in anything since, I don't believe. He came in with the ballistics report and talked about the old service pistol or whatever, or cop's gun or whatever. I thought that was from, I might have some of my details really bad here. I apologize. So I was expecting a different gun. And then if you hung around for the tease for next week's episode, you saw that small revolver in that box from somewhere. That made me think that was the weapon that killed Aaron. And maybe now that I'm talking through it, maybe Pat Ross is the guy. He would have that old weapon if we're putting 2 and 2 together. But it's not Billy. They've already thrown us several curveballs. It's not Billy. Also, the way that Billy is looking so pissed off at John and they go fishing is some additional backstory here to why he conceals the fact that the gun is in the tackle box. John, I'm sorry. John goes to say, hey, hand me that tackle box. And Billy was like, nah, I got it. Like he's going to need to protect himself from his brother. So I think we're being thrown a loop there. It's also, interesting how the episode ended with Mare going out here by herself, which shouldn't be happening. She should have stopped and waited for backup, obviously, but she doesn't work like that. So what else? A lot to unpack here. I'm already at 4.5 minutes. I didn't want to go live because I didn't want somebody breaking up my thoughts and whatnot. So here we are. I got a couple of bullet points. Everything kind of, we get to point it to this family reunion from 2 or 3 years ago, which comes back to, what got us turned on to Billy was the fact that Aaron had to go live with him for some amount of time, and it actually ended up being a few months versus just a few weeks or a few days or whatever he initially said. Then he got all uncomfortable and didn't finish his beer, didn't want any more pizza, and he left. And Mare, it was in her crawl. But we get her at the beginning of this episode. She's waking up from being the hero, which kind of is ironic because it puts her back. It has her facing the edict that she gave the late Detective Colin Zabel, where she says, doing something great is overrated. Everybody thinks you can do it again. And by the end of it, everybody realizes that you're just as average as they are or something. So don't be too focused on doing anything great. Don't create any expectations for yourself. But that's exactly what she's done, because Chief Carter comes calling and gives her back her badge and says, tomorrow morning you will reassume control of the case. I got rid of Hauser. And I think the FBI is involved now. Maybe that's why the Tony cat from The Wire, the other city councilman or whatever from The Wire, I think that's what he was. Still no idea what's going on with Dylan, his boy Sean, and Jessica after he gets questioned the second time. And Chief Carter, during the interrogation from Chief Carter and Mare, I thought they gave their cards away quite a bit. I thought they showed their cards a little bit too much to him. Or maybe because they aren't too worried about him in terms of being a threat to others or a threat to flee. His parents disappeared this episode. But they chase Jessica down after he's questioned the second time. He says he wants a lawyer. Mare is pretty sure that it's him at this point, but she just doesn't have the evidence to really make it stick. But she's putting pressure on him, letting him, showing her cards and letting him know what she had, the dots that she has connected. And then Dylan goes immediately to see Jessica and threaten her. And he says the whole thing about, if you say anything else to the police, you end up with your face shot off just like Aaron. And he has the gun. Not the same gun that the agent talked about with the ballistics. So that kind of still keeps Dylan off of, even though he went driving around that night, said he smoked some weed or whatever, he's still not a prime suspect to me at this point. But I'm starting to wonder, did all of these people meet in the park and have some kind of confrontation over something? Because he was out and about. We move on with the interrogation of Deacon Mark. It was interesting to see Chief Carter doing so much in the interrogation room. We really don't see, officers at that rolling their sleeves up so much. But he spoke with Deacon Mark. He told him about the bike. He asked him what happened to his face. He kind of gets moved over to the side. We're not so interested in him. Freddie's dead. We find out, Freddie and his drug problem, the drug problem finally won, which speaks to, in my opinion, how well, just in 6 or 7 episodes, 7 in total, just how well they've built the Mayor of Easttown universe, or the Easttown verse. And they spent some time telling us about all of these different characters in this small town and talking about the opioid problem. Hell, the only thing we really didn't get into was racism. Everybody seems to be pretty well off here, with the racial relations and whatnot. We have a black police officer and the dude who's afraid of blood. We got a black chief, her friend Beth. Everybody is kind of represented. I know there's no Asians and Native Americans, and the diversity isn't perfect. We got lesbians, black lesbian. Well, they tried. They checked a lot of boxes. So yeah, Freddie's dead. Dawn goes and confronts her former teammate and says, "Thank you for bringing me my daughter back." That happened. Mare has to console Beth after the wellness check, and she confirms that Freddie, his drug addiction finally won, and he was dead. He was gone. But there's some clues, some significant clues in Freddie's room that puts that spurs the investigation along. We also get a moment of closure. Brianna comes forward because now she's a woman scorned. She says, hey, Mayor, detective, you need to check back into him. His whereabouts, are a little sketchy. And then Brianna's mom nudges Tony. You need to apologize to the woman. She's a hero. She's done something great. Get that out the way. And Tony says, great job. I respect your bravery. Salute. Notice how Tony had the van. He had the catering van. But our Wayne Potts, was that his name? The kidnapper, he had a construction van. So they kind of, like I said, they've given us these things to stare at and focus on, and then that wasn't what you thought, or what you thought really wasn't what was going on. Drew didn't die. That would have been horrific if Drew drowned. We saw where it was going with his mom being so tired, and she turned down the opioids or whatever, the prescription medicine from the girl in the laundromat or wherever they were. And then, we thought the water was overflowing when mom passed out or dozed off. And, Drew was like, I take swim classes. I can hold my breath forever. So that was a relief. The Ross men in House Ross, where Billy lives. And now John has, this affair has put him under the roof of his father. And then that's when, dad is sitting there having a drink, struggling with some things, and says, hey, I never told you about this, but the night that Aaron died, Billy, I walked on him in the laundry room, and he was covered in blood and washing his clothes. That prompts the discussion between the brothers. And again, this is all kind of murky to me. Something is not quite adding up. Did the dad get involved to maintain peace amongst his boys, or to do something for his family? He was very upset and had never confronted Billy about, what he saw. At the same time, Mare is putting the case together. She goes and finds the pendant. What's the date? The significance of that date. It was also on the T-shirt, the family reunion memorabilia that she found at Freddie's crib. She went and confirmed with Kenny, Aaron's father. Why would he have had it? Kenny told him to come get some stuff because of whatever. He was useless. Kenny didn't have much to go on with what happened at this family reunion or this getaway or whatever. We see where this picture that Jess has. All I wanted to see was that was great TV. That they didn't let us see what's on the front of that picture and how it's connected to Mare, who was on the way to Pat's fishing spot. So those were two great moments and really suspenseful moments. Like, you got to tune in this Sunday to see what the hell that photo is, who's on that photo, and then what happens with Mare going to confront these two men. And like I said, Billy and John have something to hide. One of them is the father of DJ, and possibly also the killer of Aaron. There's a lot to unpack there. Colin's mom. Mare. I thought it was dope. Finishing the story off. She has a moment with Richard. Comes clean with him that, hey, I know I was gonna do something with you on your birthday. I said no. I was lying because I went out on this date or whatever with my partner. And she's like feeling the guilt, that she contributed to the death of her partner, her temporary partner. She's trying to clean up her shit. And she tells Richard, I'm not ready for a relationship. I know we already got down and whatnot, and there's some promise there with you. And he says, hey, I'm here in East Town. I ain't got a lot going on. Just holler at me when you're ready. I'll probably be available. So they came back and gave us him. I was on the fence of where Richard was on my suspect list. I'm kind of moving him to the side, totally. But anyway, that makes Mare go talk with the doctor. I like that she's leaning into that. Things are, picking up for her. She's back on her job. She's working this case again. She has purpose. She can earn a living. I forgot where I was going with that. But she goes to meet the therapist, and she gets all this stuff out. Like, I could have been killed in that situation. I got loved ones and whatnot. I've been living this ever since my son passed away or killed himself. It's all this baggage. That's why I like this show. This family is not perfect. All of these families are badly flawed. These are very real situations. And I got stuff going on in my life, so maybe it just resonates with me at the moment. But it's not selling you this really over-the-top fake story. These are very relatable storylines here. And she goes and walks the therapist through how they discovered Kenny and the fact that I think she's carrying some grief because she told her daughter and has turned her daughter against herself, we find out, because she was doing something and asked her to go check on Kevin. And Siobhan, this young girl, discovered her brother had hanged himself. And she hates her mother because it should have been her mother that discovered. So it's a lot. People place burdens on one another, and then it just all stopped with Mare because we know nobody's going in the attic. She had never talked to this. She had never tried to deal with this. She was just drinking herself away with Rolling Rock and eating subs and pizzas. So it's time to live life unencumbered. Get out here and do something. You're the star point guard of the state championship team. So had to take a little battery break there. Getting back into it. So Colin, the scene with Mare and Colin's mom. Wow. Like, we can tell that Mare is a former high school basketball player and not a mixed martial artist or jiu-jitsu student. She doesn't have any head movement, any awareness, any, she couldn't get out of the way of catching them hands from mom. I thought mom was a little overprotective and really, again, placing the blame of this on this woman that she really doesn't even know. She just knew that her son was fond of my Mare. He called her my Mare to his mom. Hell, they'd been working together for a week and a half or something, and the young dude was smitten with this woman with all this baggage. But she slaps her up, had to put the hands on her with both hands. And Mare takes it, interestingly. But she says, you can't go around. You were so something dead. You were so set on solving this case and blah, blah, blah. And, you can't go around here. You want to do whatever you want to do without thinking that there'll be any consequences. I think she overstepped her bounds, really. Her son was out to prove, unless he told her about how he really solved the cold case, but like, he was anxious to do something. He wanted to be somebody. He wanted to be more than this detective who was living at home with his mom. So to put the blame on Mare, that he was with Mare when they found the guy responsible for the biggest crime in this community in X amount of time, I just thought that was unfair. But this is a grieving mother who lost her son, So I'm sure Mare can understand that, maybe it was ill-timed to try to go and confront her. She had already looked at her when they went on the date. She wasn't team Mare like me. definitely. But I like that scene. I did like the scene. Siobhan, is her girlfriend's name Ann? Ann ghosted her. You know, after he said the sex was good, things have moved quickly between them. She points her in the right direction. I'm trying to think, like, did she play her? Or did she genuinely see some talent in her because she's a creative herself and is like, it's really more important that you, like, did she take, she was called a woman by Mare. Is she older and was taking advantage of this younger female and playing games with her? And then, you know, I got what I wanted and now I'm moving on to my next prey. What really happened there? I don't know. You know, but she orchestrated her getting in touch with this teacher or professor at Cal Berkeley and puts her on the right path to what she wants to do. But now she's really hurt her feelings. Siobhan goes out and gets drunk or high or a combination of the two, and then she tells her mom, you know, it should have been you. So we get all this release from the family, from the the Sheeans. Isn't that their last name? Sheehan, Frank. We got a little apology, a little reconciliation between Frank and Mare. We don't know what's going on with Frank's wife. Frank really didn't, or wife to be, his fiance, who's MIA. But Frank is a good dude, you know. He's like, you were doing your job. I know how you operate. I know the pressure that you're under. I'm not gonna hold it against you. You screwed up my wedding and all of that, my wedding planning and all of that. But Mare is Mare. So like I said, man, I like some of these families. I like this world that they've taken the time to give us, knowing that we're only gonna spend 7 episodes with all of these individuals. I talked about Mare and the counseling. I talked about Richard. Yes, no. Drew, I hit on that already. So that was it, you know. John has done, you know, he's been, and that's another thing with John being more the guy who, like, his brother Billy tells him, you know, you couldn't keep your Johnson in your pants, and now we got to clean shit up, or you know, your Johnson has cost you your whole family and has been a problem for you your whole life. That leads me to believe that he's the one that would have slept with Aaron. Like, he's the one that would do that. He has no problem, you know, going outside of his relationship with Lori. So Lori comes through, you know, it's weird that John comes to her and tells her, you know, I need you to take one for the team, and, you know, I need you to keep this between us for the family. Don't say anything to Mare. We got to keep Mare away. But then at the same time, convincing his brother to turn himself. So it's some weird dynamic going on there. I got to tune in and see how it plays out. Yeah, you know, Dylan's probably the 4th for me. Pat is probably in number 3 for me in suspects. The father, Pat Ross. And then Billy and John are 1 and 2, or 1 and 1B, or 1A, or whatever. I think, so I got a suspect list of 4. And I'm wondering, see, Billy had a lot of blood on him, so he would have had to been close, or he went to go try to comfort whoever was shot. I'm just thinking it was some kind of shootout or something. They said something about Billy might have been trying to protect Aaron. She was going to tell the truth and and mess everything up. So Billy had to kill her. I don't see that. Not with him wanting to stay close to the gun that's in the tackle box. And staring at his brother like he needs to defend himself against him. Something happened, you know. We'll find out, you know, all the details, presumably from this family reunion a couple of years ago. So, sorry I rambled a little bit. That's it. That's what we're waiting on in the conclusion. DJ's father, the killer, and what was on this photo that Chief Carter has. That's it. Let me get on out of here, man. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. My name is Wood. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. One.